Ladies and gentlemen, there will be moments in your life when you give your heart, your energy, your loyalty, and your time. And yet, it will feel like some people don't see you. They walk past you. They refuse to acknowledge your presence. They act as though your worth can be diminished by their silence. But I came to tell you today, don't react if someone ignores you. Silence is not always rejection. It can be protection. Their ignoring you does not lower your value. It only reveals their inability to recognize it. Diamond doesn't stop being a diamond because someone refuses to look at it. A crown doesn't stop being a crown because someone refuses to honor it. You don't lose who you are just because someone refuses to acknowledge it. Don't let the immaturity of others provoke a reaction that pulls you out of character. When people ignore you, it's easy to lash out, to demand attention, to prove yourself. But strength is not in proving. Strength is in standing still, keeping your peace, and remembering who you are without their validation. Sometimes being ignored is divine strategy. It forces you to grow stronger without applause. It pushes you to seek purpose instead of attention. It positions you for relationships and opportunities where you won't have to beg to be noticed. You will be valued without asking. So don't react. Don't fight for the acknowledgement of people who don't even deserve access to your spirit. Don't lower yourself to chase what doesn't see you. Because when the right people show up, you won't have to perform, you won't have to perform, you won't have to pretend, and you won't have to push. They will see you as you are, and they will honor you as you deserve. Your assignment in this life is too great to be delayed by someone's immaturity. Your worth is too high to be negotiated by their silence. When they ignore you, stand tall. When they overlook you, keep shining. And when they dismiss you, remind yourself, I am still chosen, still valuable, still enough. There is something within you so precious, so divine, so extraordinary, that no one's recognition or lack of recognition can add to it or take away from it. Yet so often, we live in a world where we tie our sense of worth to how people treat us. If they clap, we feel important. If they cheer, we feel validated. If they ignore us, if they walk away, if they pretend not to notice, suddenly we start questioning who we are. Crown does not stop being a crown because someone refuses to bow. Gold does not stop being gold because someone treats it like dust. You do not stop being chosen, worthy, gifted, or blessed because someone refuses to see you. We are often tempted to measure our importance by how others respond to us. If they call, we must be loved. If they applaud, we must be special. When they are silent, when they withdraw, when they treat us as if we are invisible, we allow their reaction, or lack of it, to define us. That is a dangerous trap, because if your worth depends on human recognition, and then your confidence will rise and fall with their moods, their opinions, their inconsistencies. The truth is, some people will never recognize your value, not because you don't have it, but because they are blind to it. Their inability to see you does not mean you are not shining. It just means their vision is limited. Think of a diamond in the dirt, even when it is hidden. Even when no one notices it, it is still a diamond. It may not be displayed in a jewelry case. It may not be admired under bright lights, but its value remains. And sooner or later, someone with the right eyes, the right hands, and the right heart will see it, pick it up, and treat it as it deserves. That's the same with you. You are valuable whether or not people recognize it. The danger is not in being overlooked. It's in letting that neglect convince you that you are less than what you are. Don't let someone's blindness distort your identity. Don't let their silence drown out your worth. Don't let their rejection rewrite your story. Recognition is temporary, but true value is eternal. You might have noticed this: people can cheer you today and criticize you tomorrow. They can celebrate you one moment and despise you the next. If your worth is tied to that roller coaster, you'll never find stability. When you know within yourself, I am valuable, I am enough, I am worthy, then whether they clap or not, you stand. Whether they notice or not, you shine. Whether they stay or leave, you remain secure. Let's be honest, many of us struggle because we want to be seen. We want someone to validate our efforts, someone to notice our sacrifices, someone to affirm our existence. But what if the lack of recognition is actually shaping you? What if it's teaching you to stop performing for applause and start living for purpose? What if it's training you to discover strength that doesn't crumble when people are silent? Being unrecognized is not always a curse. Sometimes it's a gift. Because when no one sees you, you learn to see yourself. When no one claps, you learn to applaud your own progress. No one says, "I'm proud of you." You learn to stand tall and whisper, "I am proud of me." And when you come through those seasons, you carry a confidence that no one can take away because it was not built on their recognition. It was built on your resilience. You must understand this. People who fail to recognize you are not the ones who define you. Sometimes they are only temporary teachers. Their silence teaches you independence. Their rejection teaches you endurance. Their neglect teaches you how to walk without needing an audience. They don't get to write the ending of your story. They only played a small role in one chapter. Imagine if every great figure in history had given up because people ignored them. Imagine if inventors had stopped when no one believed in their ideas. If leaders had quit when no one applauded their vision. Recognition rarely comes at the beginning. Most of the time, it arrives after persistence, after endurance, after the test of time. The seed doesn't get recognized while it's buried. It only gets noticed when it grows into a tree. The value of that seed was already present, even underground. That's you. You may feel buried right now, overlooked, ignored. Don't confuse being hidden with being worthless. Seeds are hidden not because they are useless, but because they are being prepared. When the season is right, when the time is full, nothing and no one can stop what has been planted from breaking forth. So don't waste your energy chasing recognition. Don't dilute your greatness trying to prove yourself to people who have already made up their minds not to see you. Don't compromise your dignity begging for applause from those who wouldn't clap even if you gave them everything. Your worth is not in their recognition. Your worth is in your being. You are valuable because you exist, because you are here, because there is purpose on your life. The next time you are ignored, overlooked, or dismissed, remind yourself, I am still valuable. Say it until you believe it. Write it until it becomes part of your identity. Speak it over yourself when no one else is speaking it to you, because the power to define your worth should never belong to someone else. It belongs to you. When you stop depending on recognition, you step into true freedom. Freedom from performing. Freedom from comparison. Freedom from constantly asking, do they see me? Do they notice me? Do they value me? Instead, you live knowing, I see me, I notice me, I value me. And from that place of strength, you will attract people who also recognize what's inside you, but their recognition will simply confirm, not create your value. So today, stand tall. Even if they ignore you, even if they dismiss you, even if they refuse to acknowledge your worth, remember, you don't stop being who you are because someone else can't see it. You are still gifted. You are still chosen. You are still enough. Recognition does not create your value, it only reflects it. And whether they reflect it or not, your value remains. There are moments in life when silence stings, when someone you love does not answer your call, when the text goes unread, when the room goes quiet after you pour your heart out, when you extend yourself and in return you hear nothing. Silence can feel like rejection. It can feel like abandonment. It can feel like evidence that you don't matter. But what if I told you that silence is not always rejection? What if the very silence that hurts is actually protecting you? Life has a way of keeping us from things we think we want but don't need. Silence is one of those ways. When someone withdraws, when they no longer engage, when they choose not to give you the recognition, affirmation, or response you are searching for, it is easy to assume you are being pushed away because you are not good enough. But silence can be a shield, a guardrail, a divine intervention to protect you from harm you can't yet see. Think of it this way, not every door that doesn't open is rejection. Some closed doors are safety locks. Not every unanswered message is disregard. Sometimes it is redirection. Every absence is loss. Sometimes it is preservation. Silence can be the hand of protection working quietly, even when your heart doesn't understand it. We live in a noisy world where constant validation, likes, comments, and applause can make us addicted to response. We want to be acknowledged, seen, celebrated. What happens when that doesn't come? Many people rush to fill the silence with insecurity, overthinking, and self-blame. They ask, why didn't they answer me? Why didn't they choose me? Why didn't they support me? But the real question should be, is this silence saving me from? Sometimes silence protects your peace. Imagine if every toxic argument was answered, every provocation was met with a reaction, if every insult demanded a reply. You would spend your life drained, defending yourself against people who don't deserve access to your spirit. Silence teaches you restraint. It teaches you that not every action deserves a reaction, not every battle deserves your presence, and not every voice deserves an audience. Protecting your peace is more important than satisfying your pride. Sometimes silence protects your future. When people walk away without explanation, opportunities vanish without warning. It can feel like rejection. But there are times when those very things would have destroyed your destiny if you had held on to them. What you call abandonment is often redirection. The job you didn't get, the relationship that didn't last, the friend who suddenly grew distant. Those silences are protecting you from futures that would have wasted your potential. Silence also protects your growth, forces you to stop depending on external voices to define who you are. When no one is affirming you, you learn to affirm yourself. When no one is encouraging you, you learn to encourage yourself. Silence builds inner strength that applause never can. It pushes you into self-discovery, teaching you to rely on your own voice, your own vision, your own belief. There is another kind of silence, the silence of God. There are seasons when you pray and it feels like heaven is mute. You ask for answers and all you hear is nothing. But even that silence is not rejection. It is preparation. Silence is a test of trust. When the answer doesn't come quickly, you learn patience. When the path isn't clear, you learn faith. When the noise of clarity is gone, you lean on the quiet of belief. Silence is not always a denial. It is a delay, a development, preparation for something greater than what you are asking for. The danger is misinterpreting silence as rejection. Because when you think you are rejected, you lower your worth, you settle for less, you cling to what you should release. But when you see silence as protection, you gain perspective. You learn that unanswered calls may have saved you from unnecessary pain. You learn that people's withdrawal may have spared you from betrayal. You learn that quiet seasons may be building you for breakthroughs you can't yet imagine. Let's flip the perspective. What if silence was love in disguise? What if silence was mercy you didn't recognize? Think about it. If every relationship you wanted worked out, if every door you knocked on opened, every person you chased responded, your life might be tangled in distractions and disasters. Silence is God's way of filtering your life, removing what is not meant to stay, of shielding you from what could destroy you. So the next time silence greets you, don't assume you are being cast aside. Don't jump to the conclusion that you are unloved or unworthy. Instead, pause and ask, what is this silence saving me from? What is it teaching me? How is it protecting me? Change your perspective and you will change your peace. People ignore you, let them. Their silence may be your protection from lies, from manipulation, from wasted time. When opportunities pass you by, let them. Their silence may be protecting you from commitments that would have drained your soul. When heaven seems quiet, be still. That silence may be positioning you for blessings you are not yet ready to carry. So don't resent the silence, embrace it. Don't rush to fill it. Learn from it. Don't treat it as rejection. Recognize it as protection. Because in the end, silence is not an enemy. It is a shield. It is the invisible covering that keeps you safe, focused, and prepared for what is to come. The absence of sound does not mean the absence of care. Absence of response does not mean the absence of value. Silence does not mean you have been abandoned. It often means you have been protected. There is a hunger deep inside every human being to be seen, to be valued, to be acknowledged. From childhood, we crave it from our parents, our peers, our friends, our communities. We look for that nod of approval, that clap of recognition, that voice of affirmation. There is nothing wrong with desiring connection. because we were designed for relationship. The danger comes when you begin to compromise who you are just to get attention from people who don't even deserve the privilege of your presence. If someone cannot recognize your worth without you begging for it, they were never qualified to affirm it in the first place. True value never begs to be seen. The sun does not rise in the morning and plead with the earth to notice its light. The stars do not shout for validation to prove that they are shining. And you should not shrink, bend, or chase after those who refuse to acknowledge what is already evident in you. The problem with lowering yourself for attention is that once you start, you'll never stop. You'll keep performing, adjusting, twisting yourself into shapes you were never meant to fit. You will start silencing your truth, downplaying your greatness, watering down your potential just to hold on to people whose eyes were never meant to see you. That kind of life is exhausting, and worse, it is unfulfilling. The truth is, not everyone is meant to notice you. Some people are blind on purpose. Some people are so focused on themselves that they cannot value what stands in front of them. And some people deliberately withhold their acknowledgement because they know that's the only way they can keep control over you. If you are always starving for their attention, you will settle for crumbs of validation instead of walking in the fullness of your own worth. Stop begging for the claps of people who won't clap for you, even if you gave them your all. Stop chasing conversations with people who only answer when it benefits them. Stop trying to prove yourself to people who have already made up their minds to undervalue you. You don't need their attention to be powerful. You don't need their recognition to be worthy. You don't need their approval to rise. When you lower yourself to demand attention, cheapen the very essence of who you are. Think about it. If a diamond begged to be called precious, would it not sound ridiculous? Its value is self-evident, whether people recognize it or not. The same is true for you. Your presence carries weight, your gifts carry purpose, your spirit carries greatness. And whether they see it or not, it does not change the truth of what you carry. Attention is temporary. One day people will cheer you, the next day they will ignore you, and the day after they might criticize you. If your identity is tied to their attention, your emotions will rise and fall like a tide that never settles. When you know who you are, when you are anchored in your worth, you no longer live in pursuit of their eyes. Instead, you live in pursuit of your calling. And here is the paradox: the moment you stop lowering yourself for attention, the right people begin to notice you naturally. The right doors open. The right opportunities appear. Because you are no longer chasing what doesn't see you, you positioned yourself for what is meant for you. Real recognition does not need to be demanded. It flows to those who stand tall in their authenticity. Why would you shrink your light for someone who benefits from your darkness? Why would you make yourself small for people who only feel comfortable when you are beneath them? Why would you adjust your truth to fit their comfort zone? No. Do not lower yourself to demand attention. Rise in who you are and let your light speak for itself. There is power in being unapologetically you. There is power in refusing to chase what is not chasing you. There is power in recognizing that silence from others does not mean deficiency in you. The ones who matter, the ones who are aligned with your destiny, the ones who carry honor in their spirit, they will not require you to beg for their attention. They will recognize you without you having to perform. This is the truth. The energy you spend chasing people who won't see you could be used to build the life that will make them wish they had. The time you waste begging for attention could be invested in growing into the version of yourself that no one can deny. Your focus must shift from notice me to watch what I become. Because when you build yourself, when you rise in your purpose, when you step into your greatness, no one will be able to ignore you. Attention is fleeting, but respect is lasting. You don't earn respect by begging. You earn it by being, by standing tall when ignored, by walking with dignity when overlooked, by knowing your worth when dismissed. Respect comes not from demanding attention, but from refusing to compromise yourself for it. So today, decide that you will no longer dance for validation. Decide that you will no longer shrink for acknowledgement. Decide that you will no longer hand over the keys to your confidence to people who can't even manage their own insecurities. Decide that your worth is too valuable, your calling too great, and your future too bright to waste it begging for attention. When they ignore you, shine anyway. When they dismiss you, rise anyway. When they look past you, keep walking anyway. Because the truth is, you don't need everyone to see you. You only need the right ones to see you. And when they do, you won't have to demand their attention. They will freely give it because they will recognize the undeniable greatness in you. So remember, you are not less because they don't see you. You are not small because they don't acknowledge you. You are not insignificant because they don't applaud you. You are enough right here, right now, just as you are. Attention doesn't make you valuable. You are valuable already. Never lower yourself to demand what should be given freely. Stand tall, walk boldly, live fully, because the ones who truly see you will never need to be begged. They will recognize the treasure that you are without you ever having to ask. There are seasons in life when you will feel invisible. You will give your best effort. You will pour out your heart. You will show up with loyalty and commitment, and yet it will seem as though no one sees you. Your name will not be mentioned. Your work will not be acknowledged. Your presence will not be celebrated. Being ignored can sting. It can feel like rejection. It can feel like betrayal. It can make you question your worth and wonder if you even matter. When people overlook you, it is easy to think you are losing. But often, that silence, neglect, that lack of attention is shaping you in ways you cannot see yet. Being ignored pushes you deeper into yourself. It forces you to stop depending on the claps and validation of others. It drives you into a season of quiet development where you learn to build strength, confidence, and resilience that no audience could ever give you. Think of the seed. A seed spends its earliest days buried in the dirt. It is ignored by the world above it. No one claps when it cracks open underground. No one celebrates its struggle in the darkness. To the outside eye, looks invisible, forgotten. But it is in that hidden place that the real growth happens. Roots go deep, foundations are formed, and strength is built. When the time is right, that seed breaks through the surface, not because someone noticed it, because it grew strong enough to rise regardless of recognition. That's what being ignored does for you. It buries you in seasons where nobody sees your effort, where nobody acknowledges your gifts, where nobody validates your potential. But in that place, you are rooting yourself. You are learning discipline without applause, faith without confirmation, courage without encouragement. And when you finally rise, you will not rise fragile, you will rise strong. Being ignored also teaches you to separate your worth from other people's opinions. If you always need to be noticed to feel valuable, then your confidence will always be in the hands of others. But when you've gone through seasons of being overlooked and still managed to keep going, you discover that your worth was never in their acknowledgement, it was in your existence. You learn to say, even if no one sees me, I am still enough. Even if they don't clap, I am still worthy. Even if they never recognize me, I am still chosen. Growth often happens in the shadows. Consider the greatest moments of preparation in history. Leaders, inventors, creators, visionaries. Most of their breakthroughs began in silence. They were ignored, doubted, dismissed, but that rejection pushed them to dig deeper, to refine their skills, to sharpen their vision. Being ignored gave them room to grow without pressure, to practice without scrutiny, to prepare without distraction. Sometimes being ignored is protection. If everyone noticed you too soon, if everyone celebrated you before you were ready, the weight of their attention could crush you. Growth requires seasons of obscurity so that when the spotlight does come, you are strong enough to stand under it. Being ignored is not always rejection. It is a setup for you to mature privately so you can handle success publicly. When people ignore you, don't take it as a sign to shrink. Take it as an opportunity to grow. Use that silence as fuel. Let it be the space where you discover your resilience, where you sharpen your gifts, where you invest in your purpose. Don't waste time begging to be seen. Instead, build yourself so strong that when the time comes, you cannot be ignored. You see, being ignored has a hidden blessing. It reveals who really matters. The ones who fail to notice your worth are not the ones assigned to your destiny. Their blindness frees you from the need to prove yourself. Their silence teaches you that your identity was never tied to their applause. Their rejection becomes the redirection toward the people and places where your presence will be honored. Think of the times you felt invisible. You may have been overlooked for a job, ignored in a relationship, dismissed in a friendship. At the time, it hurt. But later, you realized that being ignored spared you from places that could not carry your destiny, prepared you for a better yes. That silence positioned you for a louder celebration. That neglect was not your end. It was your beginning. So, if you find yourself in a season where you feel unseen, take heart. Don't let bitterness grow where growth is supposed to happen. Don't let insecurity take root where strength is being developed. Don't waste energy chasing those who cannot see you. Instead, use the season of being ignored as the training ground for greatness, because one day, very people who ignored you will watch as you rise into the fullness of who you are. And when that day comes, you won't rise with arrogance. You'll rise with strength, because you'll know that your growth wasn't built on applause, but on perseverance. You'll carry a confidence that doesn't crumble when people are silent, because you've already learned to stand in silence. The tree does not stop growing because no one is watching. The flower does not stop blooming because no one is clapping. And you must not stop rising because no one is noticing. Growth is not dependent on recognition. Growth is dependent on persistence. Being ignored is not your enemy. It is your classroom. It is your testing ground. It is your setup for strength, for confidence, for maturity. And when you embrace that truth, you will stop seeing silence as rejection and start seeing it as preparation. One of the hardest battles you will ever face is the battle of being unseen. You pour into people, you give your best effort, you sacrifice your time, your energy, your heart, and sometimes it feels like no one notices. You sit in rooms where your ideas are overlooked. You stand in circles where your presence is taken for granted. You give love where it is not returned. That emptiness can make you question yourself. Am I enough? Do I matter? Will anyone ever truly see me for who I am? Not everyone is equipped to recognize your worth. Some people are blind to your value, are too distracted by their own insecurities to appreciate you. Others deliberately overlook you because they fear the light you carry. Their blindness does not erase your brilliance. Their silence does not erase your significance. Their ignorance does not cancel your importance. The right people, the people aligned with your destiny, will see you without you having to beg for their attention. The wrong people will look at you and see competition. The right people will look at you and see collaboration. The wrong people will look at you and see inconvenience. The right people will look at you and see investment. The wrong people will ignore your presence, but the right people will honor it. And when you finally connect with the right people, you won't have to shrink. You won't have to perform. You won't have to demand. They will recognize you exactly as you are. Think of a diamond lying in the dirt. The wrong person will walk past it thinking it's just another stone. They cannot see its worth. But when the right jeweler comes along with the right eyes and the right hands, they recognize immediately what that stone really is. They pick it up, they polish it, they place it where it belongs. The whole world gets to see what was hidden all along. That's you. Some people may walk right past you. The right ones, the ones who are meant to walk with you, will never mistake your value. There is a reason not everyone sees you. If the wrong people celebrated you too soon, they might trap you, manipulate you, or use you for their own advantage. Sometimes being unseen is a form of protection. It keeps you hidden from those who would mishandle your gift. It preserves you until the right ones arrive, the people who can carry your heart with care, your vision with respect, your destiny with honor. So stop wasting your energy trying to convince the wrong people to see you. Stop begging for the attention of those who are committed to ignoring you. Stop lowering yourself just to be noticed. Recognition from the wrong crowd is not worth the sacrifice of your dignity. Instead, focus on becoming everything you are called to be. Build your gifts. Strengthen your character. Sharpen your vision. Because when the right people come along, they won't need convincing. They will see your light all on their own. The right people will celebrate your growth instead of being threatened by it. They will speak your name in rooms you haven't even entered yet they will value you not just for what you do, but for who you are. They will stand beside you in silence and cheer for you in public. The right people don't need you to beg for loyalty. It flows naturally. They don't need you to plead for recognition. They give of it freely. They don't need you to perform for their love. They love you without conditions. But here is the challenge. Before you can connect with the right people, you must be willing to release the wrong ones. As long as you're holding on to those who don't see you, your hands are too full to receive those who will. Don't be afraid to let go of circles where you are invisible, because every ending is an opening. Every dismissal is a doorway. Every "they didn't see me" is making room for the ones who will. Think about it. Every major shift in your life has come after someone overlooked you, underestimated you, or ignored you. What felt like rejection was really redirection. What felt like loss was really preparation. If those people had seen you, they would have kept you small, they would have kept you dependent, they would have kept you limited. But because they ignored you, you were forced to grow. You were pushed into new spaces. You were driven to keep walking until you found the right ones. When the right people see you, they don't just notice you, they invest in you, they water your vision, they nurture your potential. They remind you of who you are when you forget. They don't just watch you shine, they help you shine brighter. And when you encounter that kind of recognition, you'll understand why you had to go through seasons of being unseen. It wasn't punishment, it was preparation. So don't despise being overlooked. Don't waste tears on those who refuse to see you. Don't measure your value by temporary blindness. The right people are coming, and when they come, you won't have to chase them. You won't have to audition for their approval. You won't have to scream for their attention. They will see you. They will honor you. They will recognize the greatness in you that others ignored. In fact, some of you listening right now, you've been hidden on purpose. You've been overlooked because it wasn't your season yet. You've been dismissed because you were still in development. You've been ignored because the wrong eyes were looking at you. But when the time is right, nothing and no one will be able to hide you. People will see you, and when they do, everything will begin to align. So stand tall, keep growing, keep building, keep shining, even if nobody seems to notice. Because the truth is, you don't need everyone to see you. You only need the right ones. And when they arrive, you will realize you were never invisible. You were simply being preserved for the right moment, for the right season, for the right people,